I beat you to it.
You did.
I did beat you to it.
Hi,
I feel good about
guys.
it. Hey, everyone.
Hi, Chidi.
Hi, Okbe. How are you doing?
I've had better days. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay.
You look tired. You look like you're going through it.
I think I am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's not easy. Why is this so laughing?
Why is he laughing?
Let's introduce you. Anyways, Fuad is back.
What is back?
Fuad is back. The Fuad is back. First of his name, you know. But before we introduce him, let's introduce ourselves, especially to those people who are listening to the podcast for the first time. My name is Chidi. You can call me Chidi.
My name is Okbe. You can call me Sweet Okbe. They don't call me Sweet Okbe for nothing. Ask around. You know the reason I'm sweet. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that, but yeah. Just call me Sweet Okbe.
It's giving radio.
This final episode of the season is...
Yes. Oh my God. This is the final episode.
Bruh.
I'm going to miss you so much,
I'm going to. And
take me where you're going to go.
No, so I'm like immediately after the episode drops, I'm traveling. I'm traveling because, I have been through it for a bit.
Have you?
I have. I've been through it.
I was going to ask how your Valentine's was, but because I don't know the gist yet and I want to know. So do you want to tell us?
I was, to be honest, nothing dramatic happened. I was home.
Did your babe come? No?
No, my babe did not come because I don't have babe.
Did the babe come?
That will come.
Did the babe come?
No.
Okay. All right. We're not alone today. Fuad is back.
Fuad is back.
You want to introduce yourself?
Ring, 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 ring.
First of his name.
My name is Fuad.
The last journalism bender.
No, definitely not that.
I like that name.
Yeah, my name is Fuad. I guess that works. I was here last time.
Oh shit, Google me. That's the Google me energy. And
If you Google Fu'ad Lawal, you're actually going to find the local government chairman. I'm dragging SC.
Oh, for real?
And like people send me stickers all over, like Ikoyi Obalende of Fuad they work with the Siam.
Are you serious?
Wow.
And I'm like, and everywhere they work Fuad, I'm like, not
For real?
But thank you for the compliment.
So this is not the local government chairman Fuad,
Yeah,
please.
Not yet,
Fuad.
at least.
Actually,
Actually, never. I'd probably back.
Don't
the
be too sure.
politician.
I know, right?
I will
It's
not be a
like,
politician.
don't be too sure.
Please, let's not go there.
But let's not be there
Please,
today.
please,
Don't be
please,
too sure, though.
please.
oh yeah, just introduce yourself now for those that didn't hear the first time.
Okay, I can't remember what I said last time. But yeah, my name is Fuad. I make stuff, I write. I've never nailed an intro in my entire life. That's my introduction.
God when.
Really?
God when.
Really? Oh yeah, I'm also the Valentine I did not visit.
Oh wow.
Just
Huh?
I'm also your Valentine. I did not
Explain.
visit. She's actually intro now. This is my aristo.
Explain.
That
She
didn't
is
come
my
out
aristo.
right.
If anybody missed it the last time, I'm saying it again. She is my
That
aristo.
didn't come out right. That didn't come out the way.
You
it's
are my
supposed to
aristo.
come out. Since Fuad do not introduce himself, Fuad is like a rock star, amazing media, creative, growth, hacker, everything. Like he's been there, done that. He's an OG before IG before OG. Oh God, so many things that he
know
is. Yeah.
Anyway, we are carrying follow.
For
Why
introductions.
asking?
All right, so let's go to the question for
Do
today.
it. Let's do it. Should I read?
Ladies first.
Go ahead.
I meant you. But
Go ahead. No, I won't fall for that.
Jackie said no.
Go ahead.
hey guys, I'm getting married soon, and my wife to be and the Yoruba almost jumped out. Odudua, release me. And my wife to be and hi. Okay, hey guys, I'm getting married soon, and my wife to be and I have not really talked about our finances and how we intend to split things when we get married. I know it is important to have these conversations, but money is a very touchy subject for her. I earn significantly more than her, and it has always made her feel insecure. I don't mind handling the bulk of the bills at home when we marry, but she's insisting on contributing too. I know it will be a struggle for her, but I don't want to dismiss her attempts to be a part of this. How can we split these bills without her feeling some type of way? What is the fair way for her to contribute financially to the home? All right, so since I read the question, I think we should take reactions from me first. Yeah, so my thoughts. First of all, this is marriage. I'm not married yet, but I would believe that. What was so funny?
It's SwitOpe.
Hello.
It's SwitOpe.
I'm not married yet, but I believe that for someone that, I intend to spend the rest of my life with, everything, okay, Chidi might just deck me now with what I'm about to say, but I think everything should be out in the open, including how much, you earn, how much your partner earns, how you should talk about these things. And in my opinion, if she's insisting on contributing to, it's not a problem. Just let her, let her feel like she's a part of the family. Personally, if I have an odogu that, we say, oh, baby, please keep your money. Save your money for rainy days. Let's spend our own money. I'll love him forever. I would love him if he doesn't have money as well. But if he says...
She had to add that one, just in case.
If he says, oh, no, babe, I got it. Don't worry. Okay. Then the small ones I can sort, I'll sort it. I'll sort Loma, I'll sort the gardener, those little things, I'll sort it. So I don't think, it should be a problem. Especially, I won't say this guy is, trying to make a problem. If she wants to, then just let her.
To be honest, I'm curious as to what's going through the guy's mind and why it's going through the guy's mind in the first place. Because if you're about to spend life with somebody and the person is very interested in how we're going to, operate this relationship. Yeah. Because a lot of people think about marriages without thinking about how the marriage will run. Just think about the wedding. They don't think about the dailies, and finances is a very, very big part of the dailies. Yeah. And I don't think he's thinking about the fact that she wants to add value beyond being
the wife.
Betting, just have given birth or doing chores or all that. And I think it's really, really fair that she wants to have that conversation. I also think that it is beautiful that she's saying, let's discuss how we're going to split bills or whatever. So now that he has significantly more, he makes significantly more money than her. It even makes things easier. Right, the conversation will now be, okay, so this is how much I make. This is how much I think we should have in our joint account if they're going to have a joint account. Okay, so I can bring 80% and you bring 20% based on how much you make, right?
Yeah.
So they should just do the math together. They didn't exactly give us figures. They just estimates and all that. They should do it in such a way that she has that dignity. Right, she has that knowledge that she's contributing to the house without bleeding herself. Exactly. It is if she wants to bleed herself that I'll not start thinking she's been unreasonable.
It's too much,
right? It doesn't make sense or something.
Okay, so before we go to the expert in the house, the married expert, the married expert, I think it's a thing with men. I'm not sure, but I remember one guy I was talking to one time that had his birthday coming, and I bought him gifts, and then he's like, "Oh, no, I don't want you spending your money."
Oh, were you a copper then?
I wasn't, but I just started working. No, I just started working. And to be fair, I was not earning that much, but
So you thought you were broke?
No, not that, but this is someone that, he had given me stuff in the past, and I'm like, this is his birthday. Even if I'm not giving him, money every day, let me just do something nice for him. This person didn't collect. And I was so upset. Even till now, I'm still angry. Like, I would have still stylishly collected the money back from you anyway. I'm not saying that's what we do. But, when, say, for instance, now your birthday is coming, and I spend 100,000 on you, and then maybe randomly just credit me.
Yeah.
I'll still somehow I'll still get the money back. But I get where, he was coming from at that time, that you're not earning much. There's no need to spend on me. So that's why I think it's a guy thing. I'm not sure, but
some guys.
Yeah. So let's move to the expert in the house. Married for how many years now?
You see,
elder brother in the marriage industry.
Who has been bestowed, you just marry and marriage just comes pre-installed with wisdom. So I'm going to give you some nuggets, even though you cannot fully understand it.
Wow.
Ew.
Because you're not married.
Yeah.
Next season you must be married.
I want to say that I'm not the cause of your misfortune, right? But
Wow.
I would just be accommodating,
2023 is my year.
Yeah, my year too.
I wish you all the best.
Amen. Thank you.
But really, to properly establish a couple of things,
Yeah.
there are 3 conversations I feel like every couple should have before they marry. Money, how much they make, and how they think about the role that money plays in their life. Let me use myself. I tend to think of money purely as a means to an end.
Okay.
Like money in itself does not provide me with any sort of real sense of security. Unlike my wife, who money I can be down to my last 10K and I'm not panicky because I know if I need money to do anything, I can get it. I can get it simply by just asking you, Alpha, why me 100K? I'll give you back. And I have people I will get it from. But my wife, she's down to her last, I don't know, maybe
10 million.
Amen. she's panicking, she's worried, she's cranky, she's checking everything, right? But me, I'm not like that with money. I did not talk about that part enough before marriage, right? So there was a lot of learning for me to do while married. The second big thing to talk about is I just want to establish the 3 things. So I'll go back to money. The second thing to talk about is child rearing. What do you think about children, and how many do you want to have? And it's funny because it changes, because people think you have the conversation once, and it's it does change.
Dynamic, yeah.
And the third thing is extended family, especially in the context of Nigerians living in Nigeria. What's your relationship with them? How responsible do you feel for them? Because whether you like it or not, those other 2 factors will be mostly influenced by the extended family. So, for example, if a person is the firstborn son or a very large family that a lot of people spent money to, he will feel irresponsible, or she will feel irresponsible to that family. So that's a big part of finances. But back to money, right? I really think that it's always useful to understand why a person would want to do a thing. What's the motive? So if I use my own experience to project her motive with wanting to contribute, it's one, to feel a sense of responsibility, right?
Right.
And I don't want to be at the mercy of this other person, so I wanted to come and say,
I do
after all, I do everything in the house, like Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
And I think it is very healthy for her to want to do that, because there is nothing. It's really powerful how. Is that really powerful? The effect money has on us, right? He might be open-minded and everything, but simply because she does not contribute a dime, his opinion does stand in the house.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'll use myself for example, right? When I first got married, so picture this, the normal standard bachelor life, just the most essential furniture for sitting, for sleeping, for cooking, most basic shit. And then we got married, and and Anna is like, oh yeah, see that wall, a shelf would be nice there. And I'm like, what's this? Why do we need a shelf? And she's like, yeah, it'd just be nice. Right? If it was my money, I might have said, Mommy, I don't know for you, and I'll just ignore her. But 2 days later, a shelf showed up in the house, right? It did look nice by the wall. I would never have thought about it, right? But that sense of agency and control, having money.
Agency is the word,
So I really think it is healthy that she wants to contribute. But even more importantly, I think that each couple, we always have to figure out what their own dynamic is. I asked one of my favorite couples, a family friend, they're in their 60s now. I asked the husband, oh yeah, give me marriage advice. I was like, go see formato. And these people have figured it out themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I find that it is useful for him to have that conversation with her and put it on the table. I did have a version of that kind of conversation, even though my wife doesn't remember it. But yeah, I generally just find that half of the problems in marriage will be solved by just a lot of talking. And communication. True. On the table.
Okay, so Fuad has told us, that you must talk.
But
Before marriage, you must talk about money. Should partners talk about their finances? Do you also agree?
Oh yeah, completely.
So you think you should be able to, if you're getting married, you should be able to tell your wife that, or your wife to be that, every month at least I come back home with 10 million naira. How much do you come
is
back
this man
home with?
single?
How much do you come back
too would
home
like
with?
to
And
marry
then
him.
she will say, okay, me, darling, I come home with 80,000 naira per month.
Yeah. So again, Fuad said something I think is really important.
Yeah.
Why you should have these conversations, the format should be left to you, right? How you decide to have the conversation. You might not want to give an exact figure of what you make. I think you should.
I think you
personally
should,
will. But some people don't earn a salary.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people like are businessmen. Some people are contractors.
So your turnover.
Yeah. So it's not like you can just say annually. This is what the estimate is, like an average. It could be more. It could be less or something. You can say every month this is how much I pay myself, depending on a percentage of the business or something. Just have the conversation and let the person understand to some extent what you're able to afford, what you guys have as the man, what you have, and she will tell you, oh, this is what I have, as the co-partner in the relationship. So it's very, very important that the conversation is very, very important that the conversation is that how you choose to have it, what the outcome is, what you guys decide. If the guy is a billionaire, only cash and doesn't need the woman's money for anything, go ahead. If the woman is like $10 child and doesn't need his money for anything, go ahead. At the end of the day, your dynamic is left to you.
As much as, it looks like three of us are agreeing on partners talking about their finances, there's some people that, don't know how much their wives earn.
Yeah.
I know a couple, I hope they don't listen to this episode, that the wife, or the husband rather, she's a businesswoman, the wife is a businesswoman, the husband did not know how much was entering her account. And it was time to travel for summer holiday or something. Okay, baby, please bring your account statement. And then he sees it, and he sees millions, and he's like, I don't understand. You have this money. And there and then, he stopped doing some things in the house. He said, okay, from today, you be taking care of this. Let me be taking care of school fees. Let me be taking care of that and that and that. And then she's like, this is why women hide Hamoja. Because he was doing it comfortably before. So why is it that when he now saw it, he now...
But you see...
You have shocked the man.
Again,
the millions.
This is why these conversations should also be ongoing. Right?
Okay.
At the start of the relationship, you probably, maybe you were earning XX. I don't even think they discussed it.
Exactly. I don't think they did.
But again, it is important to have this conversation because even me too, I'll be shocked if we're living a certain life, right, within a certain box, and then I realize that my wife has enough for us to upgrade our life a bit. Maybe
change the car.
Maybe something like so. So it's just the difference now is that instead of all the burden resting on one shoulder, she doesn't have to start running the house. Or maybe one responsibility gets off, and then we can come together. Well, she can as well. One responsibility shifts, and then we can, maybe I want to buy better clothes. Maybe instead of economy, I want to fly business class.
Oh, shit.
We can afford to do that because we know that. Maybe we want to change our cars every 3 years. Maybe we want to change. See, again, it's not even just me. Right? Maybe we're staying in a 3-bedroom apartment. I want to move to a 4-bedroom apartment.
Mansionette. What's it called?
You get,
Mansionette.
yeah. So if you guys have the
Mansionette.
conversations continuously, and when something changes in how much you're earning, whether it's above, whether it's below, you have that conversation. Then rejig, revisit, upgrade your life, or choose to stay in whatever box you're in and plan for the future. Whatever it is, it's very, very important. I'd feel some type of way if I know my wife earns a lot of money, right? Earns a lot of money, earns enough to contribute more to the house, and she's not doing it. And even if I am doing it, I just feel some type of way, like, bruh, even if it means that you are taking care of one particular bill that you just take some burden off my shoulders, it will make a lot of sense.
Which is why this question is very confusing to me, because you have someone that is willing. She wants to.
That's why the question confuses me. But again, there's a flip side to it. If you're from certain places, it feels like you're being emasculated.
So the man must take care of everything.
So the man wants to do everything.
Do you feel that way, married man?
You know what's interesting?
What?
Actually, no.
You don't?
No, at all. What's actually interesting is that before we got married, right? So because, like I said, my wife, like that sense of security is so important. Like nothing supersedes it, right? I had a conversation and I was like, you know what? Let's do this, right? I think that in the case of women, vex money exists in some form throughout your entire life. In university, it is the size of the dates.
Yep.
Like going on a date, committing back and forth. When you are in your 50s, it is the type that makes Yoruba people say that a woman will stay long in her husband's house till she becomes a husband herself. So I was like, you know what?
I don't know what that means, by the way.
Me too. It's
just the thing where you think of the husband as the head of the family.
Okay.
And there's a thing that Yoruba women always say that there's a stage you stay in your husband's house that even you become a husband yourself.
How? Like
you become a leader in the family, not just the dynamic changes, not just daddy you are.
Okay.
So me, I was even like, you know what? Me, I don't mind taking on more expenses and you take on less. And my reason was actually like quite Muslim, right? So like, it's kind of like a Muslim thing that anything the husband earns belongs to the unit, but anything the wife earns or owns belongs to only her.
Yeah. My money is my money.
My money is my money.
Your
Do you
money is our
So
money.
I didn't know you had religious roots.
Oh, it is religious.
Wow.
Um,
Interesting.
So like that was my own angle, and then she was technically like, fuck that. And again, because she did not, is this thing of not wanting a scenario where one day one man will just wake up and say, I'm the one that does this. So she like takes on more. And it's interesting because we've been married for 2 years and like a few months, right? And over the course of our marriage, like the financial dynamics has constantly changed. Her own is just steady. My own is just up, down, up, down, up, down. And so like every time it's up, down, always shine the updates. Like, oh yeah, this is where I am now. This is where money is coming from. This is where money is coming from. And I just take on more stuff. And like how she always knows is that, for example, she's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then whenever it's deep, she's like, you've made me accustomed to this lifestyle now. Now look at us. But yeah, I just find that it helps to constantly communicate. And the way we split bills is that when we first married, right? Yeah. There was actually a very clear divide, which is every month we'll contribute this amount to a purse, and that purse is that's where we're going to draw from the living expenses.
So how do you contribute to the purse?
It was
like
equal.
Equally?
It was equal.
Oh, okay.
It was equal, and then
so no matter how much you make at the end of the month,
she was earning more than me then at the time, actually. So it was like equal, right? And whenever it overflows, maybe months where expenses climb, you just chip in more.
Okay.
And then later, what happened was it just became a thing where we just realized that there were specific things that needed to be done in the house, and I would be responsible for those. She'd be responsible for those. That's currently where we are at. Right. So, for example, now is like all the forms of like domestic services that we need. I tend to pay for those. Whenever it comes to like groceries and everything, she tends to pay for those. That kind of thing. Yeah. So, but like there is an awareness that it is happening. So there's not going to be a scenario where she says, "Oh, I'm just doing this, and you're not doing anything," or I'm never going to come and say, "Oh, like all I'm doing this," because she's aware of the things I'm doing. I'm constantly like communicating. She's constantly communicating it. She also has a tendency to an inability to hold anything, and so once she starts to feel any type of pinch, she just starts to. You hear it all over the house, upstairs, downstairs.
Okay, so that brings me to ask: should the man take care of all the bills?
Again.
Like you mentioned something about tradition or something.
Yeah, depending on where you're from.
There's some people that
as much as we're individuals, we're influenced by the societies, the backgrounds, the places where we grew up in. I'm an Igbo man. Yeah. What that means is that there's still plenty of, as much as I've tried to be as liberal as possible, there's still a lot of patriarchy in me. Yeah. There's still some misogyny. I mean, I'm going to see it as it is. It sleeps sometimes. As much as you try to control it, it does sleep sometimes. If I go out with a woman, till today, if I go out with a woman, I pay for the date. But I justify it with the fact that if I go out with my guys, I still pay as much as possible. I mean, there are sometimes where we go on extravagant. There's times when we go to the club or something, and then we'll find a way to. I grew up amongst boys. When I mention my best friend, I grew up amongst. I grew with boys who we don't like to talk about money outside. So when we're out, somebody just pays, and then we chip in and stuff like. So we don't like to discuss it. We don't like to. So I'm now used to it. So since I have money, I can pay for it. I don't bother anybody with. Sometimes when we just I know say you paid the other day. I don't send you something, right? Just send you something. I'd like their own contribution to the entire. So when I go out with babes still today, even when they initiate the date, I know Twitter will tell you that the person that initiates the date should
must
pay for it.
Yeah.
So even when they do, I still find myself paying. And sometimes even when they insist, I'm like, it's fine. I can afford it. Now maybe it's an affordability thing. Maybe it's because I have the money to do it. Yeah. So I can't really relate to when the money is not there. So basically the thing is, if you're able to take care of all the bills, if you want to take care of all the bills, if your dynamics is such that it works that you take care of all the bills, go ahead and do it. But I think a scenario that works for me is that, like you said, we have a joint account.
Yeah.
Both of us contribute to it. Now, even if I'm earning 10 million and you're earning 500K, I know your contribution is 50K. 50K out of 500K is 10%. 10% of my 1 million is of my 10 million is 1 million.
1 million.
At the end of the day, we're both contributing 10% of our salaries to living expenses.
Which is fine.
So even if my own is significantly higher than yours, there's still some respect and dignity, right? Coming to you because you are not just sitting down.
It's so important.
So it is very, very important that we all have that sense of responsibility. And the way to have that sense of responsibility is that you're earning, I'm earning, we're both contributing. If a time comes when maybe you want to give, see, I am very, you see the childbirth thing, pregnancy thing, I feel like it blows every other thing out of order. Maybe this is my misogyny speaking, right? My idea is that if you are carrying the baby, I don't go through that pain. I don't go through that effort. If you are carrying the baby, the least I can do is take care of the finances. Right? So when my wife is pregnant and if left to me, you go work. God provide for us so that we can have the money to be able to live that life. But left to me, is after that first 3 months, I don't want you to work again. What it basically means is that you're not contributing 1 naira to our purse. I'm taking care of that. I'm taking care of yours. If possible, I'll pay you a salary as well. Right? So again, dynamics. Everybody should have their own dynamics and how it works.
It's actually interesting, right? So minus the not working part.
Yeah.
I know that one is technically impossible. If I told Nana not to work because she's pregnant, she's going to call a hit or something. I'll be found dead
military regime.
But I think it also think it depends on the kind of pregnancy. Some pregnancies are really hard.
Yes.
Some pregnancies, doctor will tell you need to rest more.
Yeah.
So if your work is hectic.
Yeah. So the pregnancy thing is even very interesting to me. We are on the same page in the area where you said that. People always say, "Oh, we are pregnant." No,
bruh.
I'm just a supporting child. I'm not saying, "Yay,
we are pregnant."
But I go sleep for nights. No, you go there with your role. Me, I go sleep for nights. So I really just think that again with these things, it is trying to understand, and sometimes there are also aspects of it that will just be even hard to bring up. It's just being perceptive and knowing that, oh yes, we should talk about this. With the pregnancy thing now, my own ideal scenario, if we ever have kids, right, is one where for that year, so a lot of things happen when a woman is pregnant. The first thing that happens is the physiological, the body changes, right, and you have to worry about that one. Then the fact that the earning power changes too, you have to worry about income. The third one is their actual career. A lot of the time, women
slows them down.
So it's the money might even be the easiest
part
to solve, right? And so the way I think about child rearing, I think about it say person want to start up. So it's if for example now, if your priority is to quickly get like your wife to pre-pregnancy states, which might be unlikely, right? It's like if you break down these things, like what are all the actions you want to take to quickly get them there? For example, now if it is career, that means you need to get back to work as quickly as possible, right? And so what does that mean for the child? Like you have to quickly win, because there's also this trap. I've seen someone where what happened was the person was about to get a job.
Yeah.
Just finished masters, then got pregnant, and was like, when baby's here, and then first year gone, and then when baby's 1, right, and then as baby was clocking like 2 going on 3, another one, bah, and it repeated, and like the person did not have like a stable job for like the first 6 years.
Wow.
Right. So
6.
it's just always very, very interesting how like pregnancy, as you said, pregnancy, that's when down the rabbit hole, like what it does, right? But I really, really think that because of the way our society is like designed, we really need to create like healthy channels to be proactive about these things without the awkwardness. But that patriarchy part, I totally get it, because like I said, I wanted to like chip in more. You can say it's benevolent patriarchy, but I really wanted to chip in more, right?
Benevolent patriarchy.
Yeah, it is benevolent patriarchy, because you're like, oh yeah, because I'm a man, even though it's nice, it's still patriarchy.
Okay, so back to the question. This man doesn't want to dismiss her feelings, but he knows that she cannot afford to hold down bills in the house. So how do you think he should approach talking to her without hurting her feelings?
Loma bills. Loma bills are bills, right? I really think it's like I live with my brother, right?
Yeah.
And like my brother was like a senior exec in like all these VI financial institutions, right?
Oh, yeah?
So like he didn't need my nonsense money, right? Why it contributes 30K a month to the house? That money probably went to, I don't know, man. What's like he just went like basic shit, maybe like cereal, right, or maybe like electricity bills.
Yeah.
But like that money was just like contributes to the house, right? So that when I sneak in at 11 p.m., I'm not going to sneak in like a bastard. Right? I really, really think that, like, because he's the one that earns more, and my own approach to these things is that if you're the one with more power, you're the one that has to step out of your zone to go and meet the person with lesser power. In any dynamic, whether it's race, income, gender, everything. So,
I'd like to say that again. I want them to hear.
Oh, okay. So I said that in every dynamic where like power is a factor, the person with more power is more responsible for like stepping out of their way, at least from my own perspective, to actually like close that gap, whatever that gap is. Even in the workplace and everywhere. So it's like he's the one that needs to proactively have the conversation that, look, I earn this much, right? And I appreciate and understand that you want to chip into. I also know that we cannot chip in the same thing, right? So are there any aspects in the house that you want to like feel responsible for, right? It could also even be as basic as a thing where like the household expenses, she's responsible for how it is distributed across the household.
She's paying the cleaner. Do
you understand? Like it's like even the money that people are supposedly contributing, make her responsible for it, because in the end it's less about the amount and more about the sense of responsibility. Right. So I really just believe in like them just figuring out what works for them, but that conversation has to happen, and it is him who is the more powerful person here that has to initiate the conversation and lead it, and has to be careful, because if he mishands,
that's another.
Comes over as sensitive, that's going to screw up maybe like 6 months. Oh God, marriage.
Thank you so much for that, Fuad. So we move on.
No.
Oh, you wanted to add? But you're not married.
Coach doesn't play. Coach doesn't play in the team, you know. Well, it's still Sabi game. It's
never not be mad to me how unmarried people, you know.
I know, right?
Know so much.
Like,
I don't know, man.
I mean, Pep Guardiola doesn't play football. You know,
I mean, he
doesn't
used to be a player.
I beg.
Avram Grant
Oh,
never
God.
played football.
Oh,
you know, but he
God.
was a very. He won the UCL. Is it Avram Grant?
See,
One young guy, AVG, something in Chelsea that year.
oh yeah,
Andres
oh, God.
Villas-Boas. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
tell this man
So-
now how to approach this situation. Oh, you
So
married man.
a practical solution. I
Yeah.
agree with what Fuad said.
Yeah.
Again, sometimes it's sense of you have an idea how much she earns. Let's
Yeah.
say you earn 1 million a month. You can take care of everything comfortably. She earns 100K a month. So if she wants to, be responsible for something, if she really wants to, how about she takes care of, let's say, beverages? We know that if there's tea in the house, it's because
Of my wife.
of my wife. If there's no tea in the house, again,
Yeah.
how about it's just the water that we drink? Something significant, something small but very significant.
And
How about it is that every month there's at least a pot of stew that we know that if not for my wife, if not for the fact that my wife goes out every morning and comes back in the evening, we'll not be eating this stew. Something significant. And also a practical way to go about it is if she wants to still take on too much, because some people can be irrational. It's not a woman thing, it's some people thing. They can be irrational, yeah. You can also every now and then you send that random money. Hey babe, I sent you money for your nails. If her nails are like 5K or 10K, you send her 50K for her nails. 40K out of it is, 40K out of it is, she can as well contribute to the house in one way or the other. So sometimes, again, like you said, the person with more power should do the reaching out. Yeah. Everybody is different. I've looked at you. I've known your what's it called? Your touchy points. I have known all that. How can I make sure that you don't feel out? I mean, I'm sending you money for hair. I'm sending you money for, hey babe, that lashes you did the other time. I like how, you used to blink that year. How much did you make it for? She will tell you 75,000. You send her 100K because 75 is such a weird figure, right? Extra 25K is more money that she can use to contribute to the house. The fact that she's responsible enough to want to contribute means that whatever it is you're even giving her is still coming back into your own tummy at the end of the day.
You married me.
You're married.
Okay, I think I agree with what these gentlemen have said so far with my married expert and your married coach. Your married
coach.
Your married coach.
Leave it at coach.
So yes, if you are the one that sent this question and you're listening, like they have said, I'm just going to reiterate. Just call her. And I think just ask her what she can handle. Yeah. Babe, okay, since you want to contribute to the house, which one do you think your power can carry? If she now starts calling the high ones that, let's pay, take for instance, they have kids, and the school fees is like, 5 million per annum, per year rather. And then she's like, okay, I can take school fees now. I can take rent. Then you can now, come in and say, okay, let's start small first. Start with, maybe DSTV, maybe estate dues, all of that. So I think you can have the conversation like my married expert has said. Have the conversation with her. Then now that you know that, okay, her power cannot carry certain things, you can now steer her in the right direction and say, okay, why don't you take this one and then this one? Let's see. And then if you're comfortable, we can now add more since, you want to do some things. Yeah.
You know what? You're right. As a married man, I can tell you that you're right.
God, I beg. Next episode, I must be married. Don't
blame me. See,
God.
This is, if you ask me, this is the light-hearted part of this conversation.
No.
The hard part of this conversation is if you have somebody who's not contributing into the house and then wants to spend more. I don't think we've touched. I don't think we appreciate. Like you guys don't have you guys don't exactly have enough, or you feel like your husband makes 2 million or 3 million a month, and then you want to vacation in the US. You want to do all these extravagant things, and this thing is coming from his own pocket. Yeah, there's family. There's so many other things to do. I don't think. I think that's even a topic for another day. Like because if we start because that's the actual problem. You see, this guy. I don't think he has.
He doesn't have
I'm sorry. He has. We appreciate that you send this question. We respect the place you're in because it's actually a touchy thing. But to be honest, you are one of the lucky ones.
Exactly. Because it's not the usual. To be honest, it's not the usual.
If you face the usual,
I just gave an example of one now that the husband did not know how much she was earning or how much she was bringing in per month.
If you face the usual, where people don't want to contribute,
or they don't even know how much their partners earn. Say, for instance, now you start earning, your partner knows how much you're earning in January, and by Second quarter, they've increased your salary.
You just
Times
tune-
3.
You just tune up.
You didn't report
Bim,
it.
You didn't report it.
I've even heard stories
You are
of.
still earning the 100K and your husband's
I've even heard stories of where I've heard one story. I don't know how true it is, but somebody had been paying rent in a house that the wife owns.
Look at my dear man.
So there are a couple of there are some things that are clearly exploitative.
yes.
And that's an example.
But,
Maybe not
people
exploitative,
actually justified it.
Yes.
They
Some people
justified it.
tell
Her
you-
thing is her thing.
And our
Your
husband's
thing is your thing.
our own.
Omo.
Some people would actually tell you.
As long
I mean,
if I'm
he
aware.
started it.
I don't know, man. I don't know how, you know that this thing just said has scattered my entire marriage matrix. Because I thought that, like, I don't know what I would do. Maybe,
Bruh,
so,
what
like-
if this house, like, is this owned?
No, it's not.
What if this house is actually in an house?
Hey! Because I almost died at the last rate. I mean, we both almost died.
What if it's actually a house
God,
and you
I
pay
beg.
to her through a lawyer?
Exactly,
that's
through a lawyer.
That's actually worse than cheating. Because it's like...
Yeah.
Because cheating, you can just... chop
It's actually
flavors. But this one is
cheating
like-
as well. You are
it's
financially cheating your
It's
partner.
actually cheating. Especially
Yeah.
if she did not disclose.
You're cheating your partner.
But technically, is it cheating? She
It
didn't.
is.
It's cheating.
She probably had the house before you guys
She's
started living
concealing
together.
information.
Why?
Why did she conceal the information? Nana.
Because you don't have to
Nana,
know.
speak
Do you
up.
have to know?
Oh, I
This
think
house
it's,
that we are-
I
that we are
mean,
in.
okay, we just started this episode by saying everybody should be transparent in marriage.
You know
What do you mean? Does
you know what? You know
does
what?
he have
You know
to
what?
know?
It's not me that actually found this house. It's Nana that found this house.
Please do your diggings. Do your diggings and your findings
That
well
research.
after this episode.
And it's Nana is the one talking to the agent.
Hey,
Maybe
maybe
you're paying.
rent now is 2 million. Then I say, oh, so
I saw
Fuad.
the. I saw the.
Alright.
Nana, don't increase rent.
I
Too.
saw-
Landlord has said we should
The
increase
problem
rent.
is that Nana is actually proud. The rent has gone, but she not tell me.
That's the painful one.
And
Hey.
I say, oh yeah, why did you tell me? She's like, yeah, I paid it.
Ah, shit. God, where?
God
God, won't you do
actually
it?
The
Won't
only
you do
reason
it?
why,
God, I
the only
beg
reason
now.
why I was
Only
at your
you
house
since.
for Valentine's Day, I've married my sister already.
Okay, guys. Final words for
No,
this.
no final words. Joint accounts.
Oh.
Don't have that. Let's talk about it. It's very important.
Oh.
Joint account.
But he
joint
has said
account.
it already now.
So
that
it's
Nana
very
is
interesting, right?
him
I
and Nana
really,
dey
really
chip in.
think from a purely tech perspective,
Yeah.
I really, really think that there is an interesting market for products targeting couples or cohabitants, people
Yep.
that live in the same house.
Yep.
I know like 1 or 2 startups are trying it,
Hmm.
but it's like one where both people have it. It's just us that don't have our own version.
Oh, what's it called?
Yeah.
I think there's Honey Couple or something.
Interesting.
There's the Rainbow
I'll
one.
check them out.
I know Brass launched this money app, but I never got around to trying it.
Okay.
But a scenario where every month we just have. Oh, I think the reason why I did not use Brass was that a lot of the reason why we combine expenses is because we need a card. Like we always need a card to spend with.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that doesn't give you a card yet. But it's like one where we just have our budgets there, and it's a joint budget, and every month we just pour into that budget. Just the way Piggyverse has target savings.
Savings, yeah.
Right, but this one should have like target budgets of sorts and everything. Just
Mm.
like it just creates a dashboard to track contribution. Because another thing about these things is that all these things are peacetime. All these things we are saying about do this, communicate.
Yeah.
They are peacetime conversations.
Yeah.
In wartime, receipts.
Mm.
Receipts start to come out, and wartime always comes, right? And it's like, what did you do? Mr. Man. Especially in a scenario when the person who would naturally feel more entitled to I'm doing tends to be the man, because statistically men will
Okay,
earn
do more. Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
women in Nigeria, and even though women make most of the buying decisions, right? So it's like you want to have receipts for days like that. So look at it, right? It's also this weird thing where in your small corner you think you are. It has happened actually once between me and Anna where I thought I'd spent so much on a thing, and she was like, "Lol." And then I saw what she had spent, and I'm like, "Oops." Right? Those things generally tend to happen quite often. It's just really wild that I tried this money thing. It's going to take them about 18 months to 2 years to land at a place.
Yeah.
I generally just think of the first 2 years as marriage probation period.
Yeah.
Like
Trying
you
times.
can, that's actually the baptism of all your old principles and values. That's when they get thrown out the window, and then you now design you people's own marriage.
That's actually dope. Yeah.
Hey. So if you run into people who have married, their rants, their complaints, their threats to leave the marriage is most popular during the first 2 years.
Interesting.
Okay. Do you believe in joint accounts? Having joint accounts?
I do 100% believe in joint accounts. And again, which is why it's very important to have these conversations, because some people don't like to talk about money. Yeah. I don't like to talk about money a lot, but I think I like order, especially when we're sharing. So I'm going to have whoever I end up with, I'm going to have a joint account with them. Now, you have your own account. I have my own account. You have your agency. What you own before the marriage is yours. What I own before the marriage is mine. Some things I own after the marriage is mine. Some things you own after the marriage is yours. Some things we'll do it together. Now we're going to have like joint accounts. I like the idea of this tech platform that can actually, structure some of these things, because there's joint account for regular expenses. There's joint account for future expenses, projects. You want to buy a house, want to buy a car next year, want to travel to holiday. Well, can have a joint account for our children, trust fund, all that. So there's like cadres to it, and then like piggy vest, you're saving towards whatever it is. Yeah. And there's a percentage of your income. There's a percentage of your income that goes into these joint accounts at the end of every month. So we both have an idea what we're both doing, what we're both earning, and if something changes, it is you're obligated to say, this month I made XXXX more than they've increased my salary to XXXX. Oh, business performed poorly this month. Oh, I got laid off. You can honestly have these conversations and just make it work. Again, it's hard.
It is.
It's easy to say it, but I recognize and I acknowledge the fact that it's hard, which is why it's very important to, at the foundational level, at the beginning, be clear that we're going to have this conversation and we're going to have these conversations regularly.
Right. Okay. So for me, of course, I believe in having joint accounts, especially for I would say the unnecessary things, the things where you don't have to bring out money from your own account.
It adds up.
It does. Yeah. It does. Even if it's 50K, 10K, 20K, just throw it in there. You know that, okay, when we're bringing out money for this thing that we quickly want to do in the house, maybe this estate due, or my car, or the family car, you can just easily pull out money from the joint account without touching your money or your own personal account.
Yeah. What's interesting that just crossed my mind. So I generally have this framework that I used to think about, like the world, right? Which is that all entities tend to operate on the same principles, and the entities here are people, companies, countries, right? And I actually just clocked that it crossed my mind in the past, but I never really followed through on it, and so this is just me putting it to do for us in the general public, which is that even just beyond having a joint account for today's expenses, you should build like the way a Scandinavian country will have a sovereign wealth fund, where you're just saving to a future thing
that you don't even know yet.
So we just have that,
sure,
right? And just continue saving to that forever. Could be kids, could be relocation, could be
anything at all.
One person dies,
just rainy days in general.
Nonsense. You have this cash, like just this joint emergency fund.
I agree.
Should definitely
agree.
Bring that up. I don't know where the money will come out from yet, but sounds like a fun idea.
Okay, there you have it. The last episode for the season. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, our
expert,
professional married man. Chidi, are you going to miss me? Don't cry.
Don't say it, bro.
Don't cry.
I will.
I'll miss you too.
I will.
What was your favorite episode for this season?
I can't have just one
I know.
episode.
Okay, top 3.
But the standout episodes for me are the ones that personally, like, I think of them and I'm like, the one about my friends having more money than me. I also liked the content creator one with Jay. I really, really liked that one because I actually did learn a few things from that, even though I too Sabi.
Yep.
Then there's a split between There's a split between the penis one because it was one of the first. Between that one and the funny enough, the more recent one.
Penny story,
Not the penny story. The one with
The one they stole pens.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
There's a split between that one and the one about checking your partner's phones because it's a really, I think it's a really touchy subject
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's been an amazing season of I Too Sabi podcast. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at I Too Sabi podcast on Twitter, Instagram. We'll soon be on TikTok. Don't worry. We'll be dancing for you guys on TikTok very soon. I'll make Chidi dance.
You will dance.
I'll make Chidi dance on TikTok.
I'll
Don't
be
worry.
behind the camera.
I Too Sabi podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe so that you can see. If we come back, when we come back for the second season, you can see the episodes when they drop and everything. So subscribe. It's the I Too Sabi podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast, or whatever podcast, or whatever place you listen to podcasts on.
All right. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, I Too Sabi podcast.
Don't forget to rate, review when you come across any episode. Rate, review, drop your comments around it. Send us your suggestions or whatever it is. When you rate, when you review, more people are able to see the amazing content that we create.
I have an episode idea for the next season.
Which one?
Let me just hold you people accountable in the public.
Yeah.
And it's just simply this: how do you choose? I know there's a Jackpot episode, but how should people choose the country they relocate to? What are the parameters? Should you
Okay.
bring an expert for that?
Okay.
Everybody talks about Canada, but there are a shit ton of options.
Yeah.
for people with Nigerian passports.
True. I have to bring an expert too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fuad.
Thank you.
Chidi, we shall see in the next
If
season.
I don't see tears, everything is a scam.